May 12, 1974, to parents Ron and Iva Bradley, and was raised in Chesterville, Virginia. She was the oldest of two, with her brother Brad. Amy throughout her life had a leadership spirit and was a very goal-oriented, focused, accomplished person growing up. She had a strong love for sports, especially being very athletic throughout her teenage years, and was working towards a master's degree in sports psychology. With her father being successful in his career, his employer offered to send him and his whole family on a cruise. When Amy was asked if she wanted to join, she seemed very unsure about going, according to her parents, but it was mostly due to the fact that Amy had a bit of a fear for large bodies of water and large boats. But eventually Amy agreed, due to her wanting to spend vacation time with her family. In March of 1998, the Bradley family stepped onto the ship, excited for all the activities they had planned. While on the ship, the family was having the time of their lives, partying, enjoying fun contests, and also exploring whenever the ship was docked. After a late night of dancing on the deck, the family returned to their cabins and rested for the night. When Amy and Brad reached their room, they first sat on the balcony to get some fresh air. Brad eventually went back inside and left Amy on the balcony, where she seemed to be very comfortable, looking at the night sky, before she ended up falling asleep on the balcony. When morning came, Amy's father, Ron, woke up for a few moments and saw Amy still asleep on the balcony. Not wanting to disturb her, he let her sleep and went back to sleep himself. When Ron finally woke up, Amy was nowhere to be seen. He assumed that she may have already gotten up and went to the main level of the boat to get some coffee. But after searching the entire boat, he wasn't able to find her anywhere. He woke up the rest of the family, and after an hour of them searching the boat together, they decided to alert the ship crew of what was going on. The ship had docked, and the Bradley family begged to the crew members to not let anyone off the boat yet, and to make an announcement to the rest of the ship vacationers. The captain refused an announcement, not wanting to alarm the other passengers, and also refused to not let the passengers leave the boat. But he did give a green light for there to be a search. But sadly, after the search was done, they still came up with nothing. Afterwards, the captain suggested that she may have accidentally fallen off the boat, or possibly fallen off the boat on purpose. The Bradley family had a hard time believing that this would be a possibility, being that they knew Amy so well, and it would not have been in her nature to do something like that, especially with all the exciting things that were coming up in her life. They decided to take the search to the island where the boat had docked. After a few hours of searching and coming up with nothing, the Bradley family made the hard decision to stay behind when the ship left for the next destination, to further search for Amy on land. Once on land, the FBI was contacted, and it was soon discovered by the FBI that there was not a thorough search of Amy on the cruise ship, as they were told before, and that only a few main places were searched. When this was discovered, the Bradley family and the FBI flew to the next island that the cruise ship would have been docked and demanded the captain to allow the FBI to search the ship. The captain agreed, and the FBI searched for any signs other than her suitcases that were left behind. After several hours of feeling hopeless, 2 witnesses came forward on the ship stating that they had seen Amy earlier that morning, and she had been interacting with one of the band members of the house band on the ship for several hours, and for the most part seemed to be fairly comfortable with him. The man was Alistair Douglas, and he played bass for the house band. Just when his name is mentioned, Brad stated that he had remembered earlier that day while he was searching for Amy by himself, and was alarmed when he said to Brad that he was sorry to hear about Amy. But the problem was, at the time, no one else knew about Amy missing, besides the family and the captain, and the security team for the ship. So how did he know that she was missing before any announcements were made? But when Douglas was questioned, he denied knowing anything about Amy's disappearance. The family and the FBI investigators started becoming suspicious of the ship employees when the investigators found out that the ship photo services had no photos of Amy, even though several had been taken of her. It's like they completely vanished. And Amy's photos were the only ones that were missing out of all the passengers that were on the boat. After a long search, the family made a hard decision to go back home. When they did, they immediately went back to work to try to find their daughter. Amy's story was covered on several media outlets and offering a $200,000 reward for information on Amy's case. Ron and Amy's brother, Brad, eventually decided to make a trip back to the only island that they thought Amy could have been on. Afterwards, several leads came up of people spotting Amy on the island. The family felt like they had finally reached a successful place in the investigation when a man named Frank Jones had contacted the Bradley family, claiming to be a former investigator and claimed to have known Amy's whereabouts and that he was sure that she had been kidnapped and sold into sex trafficking. The family was more than willing to work with Jones, but sadly, later found out that Frank Jones was a con artist that had used their desperation to find their daughter as an easy payday, in which before they realized what he was doing, they had already paid him close to $200,000. The case goes cold for the next 7 years, leaving the Bradley family unsure if the case would ever be solved or if they would ever see their loving daughter again. But at one point, after 7 years, leads started coming in again from several different people. One was an anonymous email that was sent to the Bradleys that obtained photos of a woman that had a striking resemblance to Amy from a Caribbean escorting service. The investigators on the case tried to track the IP address to find out where the photos came from, but turned up with nothing, and learned that the brothel that Amy was supposed to have been a part of had burned down. Then, not long after, another witness claimed that after seeing the broadcast about Amy, she remembered coming across Amy when on vacation. She overheard a terrifying conversation between a woman who she thought was Amy and 4 other men in a local bathroom in Barbados. The 4 men seemed to have Amy scared straight, but after trying to start up a small conversation with her to see if she was all right, the men bust back into the bathroom, and the witness rushed out of the doors, never to see the woman she believed to be Amy again. Today, it has been close to 21 years since Amy went missing, and at this time, she has been declared dead, but not confirmed. And even though there are many people that would say that by now, she is more likely no longer with us, until it is confirmed, the missing persons case of Amy Bradley remains unsolved.